There's some specific series that are known for their poses. One of them is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I cosplay from it all the time. I mean, I'm not even kidding.
Do your Dio poses.
I see your, yeah, one of the pictures I actually took recently, I was hanging upside down from a bar. But that's just because I'm secretly a monkey or something, but
you're secretly a dork.
This is one of them. This is dynamic posing. Yes, my toe is up. That is important.
Little tiny details about your character that bring them to life. Like for example, Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow wouldn't just sort of like stand there like, yeah, he can look epic doing that, but no, he's got the little like the sway and the fingers and that type of stuff. I mean,
yeah, he does things with his hands.
Yeah, and his like back is kind of crooked. Yeah.
I was just speaking of turning. If you have a big shiny prop, turn it a bit. Don't have it edge on. The Flash will hate it.
Another thing about the 3/4 thing and props and things like that. One of the things that we commonly see that's like, oh, I mean, I always want to like when I see people taking pictures like this. I swear, like a pet peeve. I just want to go up to them and like fix them, and then like walk away. It's like drive-by fixing. What we mean by that is, okay, say you have a prop, pretend it's in my hand or something, like a gun, or a sword, or anything like that. The tendency is, if you're like my photographer, the tendency is to do this. This will produce a terrible photo, not because it's a bad shot, but because it's a bad angle. You want 3/4, like this. And I know this like looks very but I want to point it at the camera. If you point this at the camera, all the camera's going to see is like a little circle of the barrel, and the rest of the hand and gun is going to be like in the way of, because remember perspective, it gets bigger and stuff like that. It's going to, it actually gets smaller, so your hand is bigger. It gets all up in the way of like your chest and your body and all this stuff, and sometimes like it's in the way of the face and you can't see anything. It's a bad angle. Like at this angle, can you, you don't really see anything good. Where's the detail over here of your shirt? All you get is like shoulder. It looks terrible. So just remember the angle, 3/4. And if you really like want the gun to be more aimed at the camera or whatever, bend the perspective, 3/4, and then maybe move your arm like this. So it's technically still pointed at the camera, but look, it's still at a 3/4. So you're suddenly like this. You can still see your face, your chest. It's still a dynamic pose, maybe like twisted, angle it a little, something like this. But you want the camera to be at a 3/4 opposed to your own body. It will actually give you the best perspective always. Another thing is like,
make you look thinner.
Yeah, it will make you look thinner, which is very flattering. Quick thing. If you are a girl doing a guy costume crossplay, then you want to face the camera as much as possible
it's just one of those.
at an angle. At an angle, because it makes your hips look smaller.
Well, I don't have very big hips, so then I'm not really afraid.
I have big hips.
But you have big hips.
That's true.
Your coat is hiding them.
Yeah, my coat's hiding them, but
if you're at a 3/4 angle, it makes your hips look thinner, which guys have thinner hips. So and then twist your shoulders directly at the camera, and this makes your shoulders look wider as opposed to your hips, and it makes your crossplay a lot better. The exact opposite for a guy trying to be a girl. Twist your shoulders at an angle so that they look smaller. Put your hips straight forward. It makes your hips look bigger, and it makes guys look more like girls on camera. Just it's a little perspective trick.
but yeah,
it also
Also, you don't want to have like a really, like if you're doing a character who's a man and is not like overly feminine, you want to have more masculine stature.
So if you're gonna
stand like
straighten your don't slump. I always have to remember mentally do that. I'm pretty sure Skyfire probably saw me do it when I posed for him earlier, but it was like if I'm just standing around and somebody asks me for my picture, all of a sudden I have to go. I snap up the shoulders, bring them up and back. Put out my chest a little bit, but I also put my hips forward too at the same time. So it's like all of a sudden I am posing.
I always think of a rooster in my head.
I'm going to chime in too regarding the male and female posing a little bit here. Anyway, cool. There's also a masculine head tilt, which tends to be more of a skeptical. It leans toward the lower shoulder, and there's a feminine head tilt that goes toward the higher shoulder. So keep that in mind too if you're cosplay.
It's all about tricking what the camera sees. It's all about perspective. So okay, now another thing about cool angles is it's been done a mazillion times. Point, snap, shoot, I'm done. Forward shots are good for archival purposes, getting your, cosplay outfit, getting all the pieces and all that other stuff. But for all intents and purposes, it's boring. It is very boring. Try different shots. Camera from above, camera from below, different striking poses, different movements, that type of thing. Try all that stuff.
Different poses look different from different angles.
Yes.
Like incredibly different.
Which is where it's like, which is what it helps, because you're gonna have all your reference from making your costume in the first place.
Hopefully.
So you're, yeah, if you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right.
So you should have plenty of reference. You probably have seen the show or the video game, so you know how they move and act. So it'd be like, hey, there was that one scene in that one episode where he, like I've got my Kugashi ones. It's like here's normal standing. This is my archival picture. I stand. Here's Kugashi. But I like posing in the spell pose because then I come down and I do this, and everybody's like, holy crap! And it also accentuates this area where there's no shirt.
Also, that's an awesome shot for later photoshopping and like putting some type of energy ball there.
Yeah, like that too. But that way, it's one of those, as you go along and you do more costumes and you get more experience, you'll start with just mostly getting archival photos, but then you'll be like, God, there was that one shot. If I had a photo of me doing that, it would look really cool.
epic.
So do it!
And again, just like everybody has a preference in lens, everybody's going to have a preference in angle. My personal preference is, camera down, going up. That's my personal preference. And this is a very unflattering shot if you don't know how to do it. But if you do know how to do it and you distort the perspective just right, you can get some freakishly awesome photos. So,
boot stomp!
Yeah, boot stomp and that type of stuff.
There's actually this one angle that I had a picture taken from. I was grabbing on someone else's hair, like I'm supposed to be beating them. And the way it actually looks from my perspective down on them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dizzying to look at it first because there's two heads and everything, but it's just one of those.
Yeah, two heads already.
Yeah, whenever somebody strikes a pose, tell them hold it. Or if it's a good pose, tell them keep that pose. And you as the camera person walk around, take pictures from different angles because each angle will look slightly different. And once you scan through all your photos later on at home and all that other stuff, you'll be like trash, 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 epic, trash, 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 oh, trash, trash, trash. That's Photoshop, trash, trash. That's how you're gonna be doing.
And also consider your model with the pose. If they're starting to shake because it hurts to hold.
Yeah, especially with your JoJo.
Yeah, I can actually show you a pose. I was vibrating while I was doing take a picture.
3000.
Oh yeah.
This. My thighs are shaking.
Because you're really tired now. I don't think you probably hold that pose at all.
3000 with that cleaver thing. Back when we did our Guilty Gear photo shoot, he had the cleaver, and he wanted to do one where the cleaver was over his head, which is great because this man but he's I'm a big black guy, so he's holding this thing over, and we're taking photos, and all of a sudden you see his arm start to do this violently, and I'm like, should you put that down? He's like, nah, just finish the pictures. So keep that in mind about your person if they have some type of prop or a weird pose. All right, so that's posing, and again, apologize for going quickly, but we want to get to cool stuff. All right, so up next is if you're a photographer taking pictures, make sure that the person is in a pose. If you're a cosplayer, strike a pose, let the camera person walk around you, take lots of photos, that type of stuff. Just to recap.